So I remember extremely well the first time I was traveling alone. I was 21 years old at the time, and I had saved up the budget, but I wasn't really sure what exactly I wanted to do. On one side, I wanted to save up money for an apartment. And on the other side, I knew I wanted to go to Japan since I was a little kid. Like, I had seen so many animes and so many things I really liked from Japan. So I just knew that was the natural first destination that I wanted to go to. So I had been for quite a while trying to get some other friends to join as well. And I had been really excited to go to Thailand and some different places around Asia. But every single time I noticed that I was going for the trip, there was always some sort of excuse coming up. And every single time the trip ended up getting cancelled. So what happened after this happening three times is that I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it alone." So what I ended up doing in one of the moments, I remember I was so scared from actually making that booking. I hadn't told my parents, I hadn't told any friends yet that I was going there. I just knew that this was the right decision for me to just take that leap of faith and just go in there and book the ticket. Like I didn't know anywhere where I was going. I knew I was going to start off in Tokyo at the Narita airport and just go from there. So I took the leap, and I remember I had to tell my parents, and they at the time, like, they were extremely scared. Like, you've always just gone around to Europe, and like now you're going to Japan alone. And if you're ever making that decision for yourself, like, don't expect that conversation to be easy. It might be really difficult depending on the kind of relationship you have with your parents. But I guess like most moms, they're like it's quite entertaining conversation to have. But yeah, nevertheless, like once I got through that and kind of sweet talked her through it and just got through the bumps on that, I was like counting down the days of just waiting for it to get closer and closer and closer. And I remember today is the day. Like, I'm traveling to Japan alone today, and I had packed everything. Like, I was traveling with a suitcase, which I learned is like a terrible way to travel, depending on where you're going. But if you're planning on just on like backpacking around, which is like it's backpacking, like you need a backpack for that. Well, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but like you're gonna save yourself a lot of hassle by just getting a backpack. And when I was on that plane and like we just started taking off, I was just like, holy fuck! Like, this is the moment I've been waiting for, like, for such a long time. So, what it was like when I first came down to Japan is I remember I was in somewhere close to a park in it was like a war memorial temple, and I remember I was extremely jet lagged. I didn't speak any Japanese except like a few phrases like yes, hello, thank you, just like very simple in like a small phrase book that I had. And at the time, I I was extremely scared of like even just starting conversations with random people. That was that was like going to a bar or a nightclub, is just like actually making that first initial like awkward start. Like, it depends on like if you're introverted, extroverted, like what way you grew up, that kind of stuff. For me, like, I'm very introverted, so it takes quite a bit to just get started into it. I remember like just being jet lagged, just walking up and down the street. I had the local currency, and I just walked into this random place where I could eat. And at the time, I was so extremely scared because it just felt so surreal. Like, there wasn't a single word of English. They didn't understand a single word of English, and there were like this extremely scary, huge letters, like Japanese letters, kanji, and like they can be so terrifying, like when you don't know any Japanese. But oh god, this just the hospitality of them, just like it's amazing how much you can understand of a person, even if you don't speak anything. Like so much of what you're speaking is through your body language. So what I would say to you, like if you're in that position, like you have saved up a budget, or really want to go somewhere and you have a job or some way to get the budget for it, like it's one of the best investments I've ever made, to just go on that adventure. Like it's one of those things where I've met so many old people and so many people back home that always talk about, like, this is something I've wanted to do for such a long time. Like I always wanted to go traveling. I wanted to go skydiving, scuba diving, just like hiking in the Andes, just so many different things. But like they don't take that first leap. So if you're feeling afraid, if you're feeling scared to do something, that's awesome. It's amazing. Do you know why? It's so amazing because it means that on the other side, as long as it's not like a direct link into something that's really can really hurt you. So if you really would write down, like, what's the worst case thing? What's the worst case scenario that would happen in these kind of situations from me doing that action of something that you want to do? Like what's the worst thing? Like I asked myself that question. Well, I guess the worst thing is like maybe I'll get something stolen. Like, of course, if you act with common sense, like that's one, like that's just use your head. Like I trust in you. I believe in you. You can do that. And once you've made that decision, once you've taken that leap of faith and just actually went there and booked a ticket. So I would challenge you right now. Is it somewhere that you really want to go? You can be smart about it, but really think about, like, how many days is it in a year? 365. A year will blow by. Your life will blow by in a breeze. Do you want to travel? Do you really want to travel? Just if you really want to travel, just make that sacrifice. It's so amazing. So after my little rant right there, like this is something I'm extremely passionate about, just traveling to different countries where, especially where I don't speak the language, is that's a big challenge, but it's one of my favorite ways to travel. So one of the things is you always hear about people wanting to do the things that I really want to do. Like they have this bucket list. Like I wish I would do that. I always wanted to do this thing. What is your thing? And be honest. You know what you want to do. You know your dream destination. You know where you want to go to. What is holding you back? And just figure out what is holding you back. Like when you really think about it, like one of the things I was looking into is like what's holding me back. Okay, well, I have a full-time job at the moment. I don't really like the job, and I kind of felt like, well, what's the worst thing that would happen? Like if I would go traveling, I could go back and probably get pretty much this exact same job with little difficulty. Like it would be pretty effortless depending on where you are in the world, but most countries, like you can get multiple jobs. Like it's not a big deal. It's more of a mindset thing. And once you set yourself up in that kind of mindset, you're going to be able to just go with the flow and just figure out what is it exactly that you want to do. And I think deep down we all know what it is that we want to do. We just suppress it. We think that it's not possible because other people have told us it's not possible, or we believe for some reason ourselves that it's not possible. But this is one of the most amazing times ever that you've been born into. And if you want, if you really want to travel, do it. Just take that leap. Take that leap of faith. Book that ticket. Just do it. I'll see you on the other side. Peace out.